Good evening, everyone. My topic was all about ICT policies and safety issues in teaching and learning. One method of improving and controlling ICT usage is to develop and enforce policies to influence effective decisions. So atong mabantayan, 'di ba? Kanang moadto ta sa isa ka website, there were certain policies given, then kailangan pa nato i-click tong agree button bago ta maka-proceed in that particular site. Those policies na naka-indicate dito will serve as guidelines for us users on how should we act on that particular site na ilahang gihimo. Definition of ICT policy. Policy is a course of action adopted and pursued by a government, party, a ruler, or a statesman. So, bago siya mahimong policy, of course, na ay people who are in authority, gina-check muna nila if it is appropriate policy for that certain website. ICT policies are required to lay out a roadmap or plan of actions for different states, organizations, and agencies involved with ICT to follow. It includes principles and guidelines in the use of ICT, which covers three main areas such as the telecommunications, broadcasting, and internet. The new ICT technologies. The new ICT technology refer to all communication technologies including the internet, the computers, and the softwares or other materials. It serves as medium for us to put our message or informations, at the same time medium to send or to relay the message na atong gusto i-send to someone. So there are three recent group of technological innovations that increase the reach and speed of communication. First, we have the information technology. Information technology includes the use of computers, which has become indispensable in modern societies to process data and save time and effort. So information technology, it refers to the information or the message, the data that you are trying to compose by the use or through the use of computer. Dito nimo siya gisulat sa computer ang imuhang message na gusto ipaabot to someone. What will be needed in this is a hardware and peripherals, and for the user dapat you are computer literate or dapat kabalo ka mo operate og computer, kabalo ka mo gamit anang computer for you to easily use it. At the same time, makasave ka og time and effort. Another, we have the telecommunication technologies. It includes telephone with fax and the broadcasting of radio and television often through satellites. Telecommunication technology, it refers to the technology that are being used for you to save the information that you've got, such as the computer, the telephone, ingana. The last one is the networking technologies. Best known of networking technologies in internet but has extended to mobile phone technology, voice over internet protocols, satellite communications, and other form of communication are still in their fancy. Networking technology, it this category serves as the broadband connectivity for your message to send to someone, such as through by the help of the cable, mobile telephone, satellites. So mato sila mga networking technologies which help na i-relay imong message in a fastest way. So there were some issues on ICT and internet policy and regulations. Global issues. we have the access and civil liberties as sets of issues in ICT policy which are crucial to the modern society. Access to the use of internet and ICT. Access means the possibility for everyone to use the internet and the other media. Issue number 1 is the freedom of expression and censorship. Under International Human Rights Convention, all people are guaranteed the rights for free expression. The UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights provides that everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Likewise, the right to freedom of opinion and expression, which we always tend to share to different platforms. So we have that kind of right as a human to freely express things we want to share to somebody. So there are given examples in here. Example number 1, individual rights are given up in order to have access to electronic networks, Microsoft servers, and the rights excuse me, in its sole discretion to terminate access to any or all MSN sites or services. MSN contracts provide protection of individual like uploading images, photos, and other materials and protected by intellectual property laws. Number 2, censorship limits the transmission of information by blocking or filtering it. So, filtering is kanang halimbawa nag-compose ka og isa ka post. Then matingala na lang kapag post nimo gi-filter day imong message because ang imong message is nag-compose og kanang there were words na kanang inappropriate or mga foul words. So mao na siya, nahimo siyang issue. It's because we are said to be kanang we are given the authority na to freely express ourselves, our opinion, but nganong gina-filter nila, nganong nadyo'y website na gina-filter ang atong message. Ano siya? Blocking prevents access to entire areas of the internet based on a blacklist of specific internet addresses, location, or email addresses. Data packets are sifted through filtering. So, ginalimit niya ang transmission ani sa information. It's because, di ba pag mag-post ta, naa sa tuwa if we can either choose if gusto na to i-public ang atong post. Pwede po circle of friends lang ang gusto nato na makitaan na post nato. Or, kanang isa lang katao, pwede po naing ana, di ba? So, ginalimit niya ang transmission of information na i-limit. So there's a warning in here stating when you are surfing the web, you may think that you are anonymous, but there are various ways that information about you or your activities can be collected without your consent. So mao po ni siyang isa sa mga issue na pwede makitaan ang atong mga gipang post even though na-archive na to siya or kanang na-private na nato. Kasi burag nakaano na siya, burag na butang sa setting atong site na they have the right, the owner of that site have the right na i-check ka anytime if they want, and which is disadvantage for the user kasi it will be used also, pwedeng may use as kanang against you. Number 3, defamation actions may be used to silence critics. This action deters the freedom of expression. Defamation, it is libel. Kanang pwede na makaso sa imo if kanang nagpataka na lang kag post, kanang naabot na sa point na kanang nanirang puri bay tawag ana. Ang ana, kanang nagpakaulo na kag tao. So pwede ka anytime makasuhan og libel if you do that. Maunang kanang mapaisip na lang pud ta usahay if ako ning i-share, if ako ning i-post, okay lang ba, wala ba ko'y maano? So ingana, Issue number 2, privacy and security. Privacy policies are an issue. Most commercial sites have a privacy policy. When someone uses a site and clicks the I agree button, it is as if you have turned over private information to any authority that may access you. So, it's like kanang, di ba na ni mga I agree into certain website, mga button na dapat nimo i-click before ka makaproceed. So, it's like you are giving them the authority na makuha ang imong information anytime. Kaya ni-agree man ka sa ilang policy. So, there are several types of privacy as shown by the following examples. One, foremost, privacy means personal privacy. The right of individual not to have their home, private life, or personal life interfered with. Number 2, privacy of communication refers to the protections from interference with communication over the phone or internet. Example, ani, if nakikatawag sa cellphone, nakika-istorya sa cellphone. So, if napay gusto mo tawag sa imo during that time na nakika-istorya sa cellphone, dili ka pwede nila makontak. So, di ba, nakasetting na siya sa phone na ingana jud. That serves as personal privacy na dili ma-interfere ang imuhang communication with other. Number 3, information privacy is related to the use of computers and communication system which can hold and process information about the large numbers of people at high speed. It is important to ensure that information will only be used for purposes for which it was gathered and will not be disclosed to others without the consent of individuals. Issue number 3 is the surveillance and data retention. The use of electronic communication has enhanced the development of indirect surveillance. Indirect surveillance is that anytime pwede ka nila ma-check to whatever you posted online, pwede sila makuhag data sa imuha. In indirect surveillance, there is no direct contact between the agents and the subject of surveillance. Data surveillance is the use of personal information to monitor a person's activities. Data retention is the storage and the use of information from communication system. What can be done is to change the method of working to make surveillance difficult. So, kay naaman sila, ang issue diriya is that kana siya nga tag-iyana na website na siya authority na i-check ka anytime without your consent. So, no need na manguan sila consent nimo. Pwede nila ma-check or magkuha sila information about you in that particular website. Bisag dili nimo gusto. So, ang imong pwede mahimo ana, napud kay pwede mahimo, which is so-called counter surveillance or information security. So, kani siya kanang ginapa-make niya ang survey or katong nag-survey sa imuha, nangitag information about sa imuha, mga private information, into difficult. So, pahirapan ang paghanap ng mga information about you. Issue number 4 is the e-pollutants from e-waste. Large amount of e-waste is generated by ICT. These are terminal equipment used for computing, such as PCs, laptop. By the way, e-pollutants, E there stands for electronic. So, most of the waste daw into our environment is being caused by the ICT or different technologies na kanang continually gina-invent katong dili na magamit. So, nahimo na siyang waste, which napud siya kanang disadvantage towards the environment at the same time sa health sa people. Such as in telephony, we have fixed and mobile phones, and peripherals, fax machines, printers, and scanners. The accumulated e-waste is due to rapid turnover of equipment due to rapid improvement of software, while material waste can be destroyed by crushing toxic materials brought about by different equipment requires utmost management. A very dismal state is that there is significant amount of electronic waste that has been shipped from industrial countries to developing countries using less environmentally responsible procedure. So, to those country na very developed na, ang ilang ginabuhat sa ilang mga ways, mga technology na di na magamit or magamit pa manggaling pero kailangan pa ayuhon ana. So ilan ang gina-dispose dito sa mga country na pa-develop pa lang, which is luoy disadvantage for those poor country kasi even though they are given the opportunity na maka-use ato, napod siya kanang side effect sa environment nila dito at the same time sa health nila dito because of the chemical components that those technologies are being made from. E-waste will tremendously affect climate change, damage human lives, ayan, and overload the capacity of the earth in carrying solid waste. Implication to teaching and learning. How do the policy guidelines, projects, and issues relate to the teaching and learning? So there are great applications of the lesson to both the teachers who are teaching and the learners who are learning. A few add these are as follows. For the teachers and teaching, first, guide the teachers on what they should teach that relate to ICT and how to teach it. Teachers might be overwhelmed by the rapid development of ICT. Temperance is its use is a quotient that should be looked at. Number 2, technology. Technology should never be replace any human teacher. The human touch of teacher is still a vital component in teaching. It is indeed true, di ba? Kasi iba talaga yung knowledge that the teacher have than the technology or that technology given or provided sa usa ka student. Si teacher, if question na gusto ipangutana, so she can answer it beyond expectation than those technologies. Kaya there were informations kasi na dili ma-answer sa kana na website or whatever website you are trying to search. So teachers should always be reminded that there are always limitations in the use of different gadgets and tools. Number 3, there are rules and regulations that govern the use of technology. Teachers must be aware that technology may jeopardize your privacy and security. Number 4, all the issues and many more shall be part of teaching content as each teacher will be encouraged to use technology in teaching. For the learners and learning, learners of the 21st century are even more advanced than some of the teachers. However, they still need guidance on how to use and regulate technology use. These are because technology have positive and negative effects towards us learners, and learners should also know what technology can do to them, what risks it could lead us, and how they can be protected from that by the help of the teachers. Another, learners should take advantage of the potential of learning support they can derive from learning support. Support can include development of higher order thinking skills. Next, both the teachers and learners should be mindful of the e-waste that being thrown away by the land and to the atmosphere. So, katong mga dili na magamit na mga technology, so dapat we should appropriately dispose it. Thus, safety in the use of technology shall be presented in the next lesson. Safety issues on the use of ICT, including e-safety rules. Some risks in the use of ICT and e-networking. Technology is a phenomenon that seems to be uncontrollable. Safeguard and protection should be the primordial role of parents, si teachers, and the school. So they should guide the children, the students, on how they govern or how they use technologies or informations from different technologies. There are so many risks that we have to be aware of in the use of digital technologies. So this may include the following. Number 1, exposure to inappropriate content, including online pornography, extremism, exposure to violence associated with racist language. So especially to children, they should be They should be taught on what videos they should only watch, which is appropriate silang edad. Number 2, lifestyle website like self-harms and suicide sites and hate. So students or children should be guided dapat kinatanaw ni parents kung unsa na pages ang ilang gina-follow para mapalayo sila sa mga harm na pwede ihatag ato ng mga page. Number 3, cyberbullying in all forms, receiving sexually explicit images or messages. Number 4, privacy issue, including disclosure of personal information. Number 5, privacy issues including disclosure kasi there were informations that no need na nimo i-scatter or i-share to someone through different platforms. Especially mga private na kaayo, so dapat ma-orient sila mga children na dili mo patakag post. Number 5, health and well-being, amount of time spent online entertaining games, internet gaming, and many more. It was being said that the more time you give spending online is parang ikaw ra po'y dahilan nga nung ma-shorten ang imong life. Number 6, prolonged exposure to online technologies, particularly at an early age. So, sa mga bata, kung mahimo, dili sa jud sila ipahibalo kung unsa ning cellphone para mapalayo pud sila sa harm na pwede ihatag ana nga cellphone sa ilahang health, especially towards health. Number 7, addiction to gambling and gaming. So, di ba kay in this form ay sa life nato karon, in this situation set up nato karon, so we can do gambling, online sabo to different platforms, di ba, which serve as also or dahilan nga nung ang ato mga mama, papa, or certain family, part of the family, mag-away. Because nahurot ng kwarta o gambling. So, number 8 is the thief and fraud from activities such as phishing. Number 9, viruses, hands, spyware, and other malware. And 10, social pleasure to maintain online networks via texting and social networking sites. Minor misuse of ICT. So, mao ni siya mga misuse of ICT, na misuse ang paggamit sa mga informations from different websites. And schools, sa minor misuse made by the learners include the following: copying information into assignments and failing to acknowledge the source. Kasi, if you fail to acknowledge the source as hagikan ana na information, pwede ka ma-plagiarize, maka-plagiarize, or copyright infringement. Downloading materials not relevant to their study, so na-misuse siya kay pataka na lang kag-download og mga documents bisag dili related sa imong study, na-misuse nimo to nga information. Misconduct associated with subject login, such as using someone else's password, leaving a mobile phone turned on during class period, unauthorized taking picture or images with phone still or moving. So, e-safety takes care not only of the internet technologies but also of electronic communications via mobile phones, game console, and wireless technology. It highlights the need to educate children and young people about the benefits, the risks, and the responsibilities of using information technology. Here are some issues of e-safety. So, e-safety helps safeguard children and young people in the digital world. It emphasizes learning to understand new technologies in a positive way, educates children about the risks as well as the benefit, so we can feel confident online. At the same time, support young learners and adults to develop safer online behaviors both in and out of the school. Network management, so how they manage. Number 1, safety and the use of network and school. They make clear that no one should log on as another user. They require all users to always log off when they have finished working. They maintain equipment to ensure health and safety. They provide students with access to content and resources through guided e-learnings. They set up a clear disaster recovery system in place for critical data that includes secure remote back of critical data. And the following. So, number 2, password policy. So, only authorized users will have individual passwords. Users are not permitted to disclose their passwords unless they got permission from the owner of or from the management. Number 3, personal mobile phones and mobile devices. All mobile phones shall be kept away in a box away from the children or learners, and access is only allowed at break time or at the end of classes when needed during the class period. Number 4, the camera. Taking pictures only from parents or caregivers, not from any other family members or friend while the child attends class. Another is any picture taken of children shall be on camera solely for the purpose. So, di ka dapat magpataka og picture-picture. Setting up an educational technology room. Schools that plan to dedicate a room where students can access technologies for learning should include the following basic safety rules. Number 1, provide tilt tables. These tables can be tilted and adjusted to the height of the users. Number 2, provide anti-glare screen for the health of the users. Number 3, provide adjustable chairs. Number 4, provide foot support. 5, make sure that lighting is suitable. 6, make sure workstations are not cramped. Number 7, plan work at a computer so that there are frequent breaks. More specifically, safety rules that can reduce risk of accidents in the working stations should include the following. No trailing wires across or around the room which people can trip. So, dapat ang mga wirings is naayos yun na siya. Number 2, electrical sockets should not be overload para maiwas og short circuit, which is dahilan bakit nagkakasunog. Number 3, electrical equipment should be safety tested at least once a year. 4, there should be adequate space around the desk for people to move. Bags and obstacles should be stored out of the way. Food and drinks should not be placed near machines. Of course, heating and ventilation should be suitable for the working environment. Number 8, fire extinguisher should always be available for anytime if naisunog. Pwede dayon nimo makuha to for prevention. Number 9, fire exit should be clearly marked and free from clutter. So, dapat ang fire exit na word, dapat ka nang visible kay siya sa eyes. Para anytime if naisunog, dagan ni ka dito then your safety. So, that's the end of my report, guys. Thank you for listening.